Hello, everybody. I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System in Lawrence, Kansas.
I'm Christopher Brandon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
Today, we're going to be talking about a little tiny part of Koha that helps you. A lot of the times we talk about how to do things with jQuery and how to do things with CSS. And sometimes you want to be able to look and see this is what it looks like with the CSS, this is what it looks like without, this is what it looks like with the jQuery, this is what it looks like without. And so up until I think version 2005 or so, you would just have to take your code out, reload the page, and then you would see what it's like without the code, and then you'd put your code back in and reload the page, and then you'd see what it looks like. But there's a little tiny piece of code you can stick at the end of your URL to disable a couple of system preferences, and so we're going to show you how to do that today. We are a part of the education committee at koha-US, and here's the koha-US website at koha-us.org. Right now, you can go here and click on the link under events for KohaCon 22, and you can read all about the conference that's coming up right here in Lawrence, Kansas. If you're seeing this after the conference in September, you can just go here to video playlists, and this is where you'll find all the videos that we do and videos that other community videos. You can find the Bywater Monday Minutes here. On our website, there's just all kinds of stuff. If you don't often get to, if you've missed a Koha-US meeting, you really want to go to, you can find all the meeting videos here in our Facebook, or our YouTube page. And so this is a great place to go. If you want to find out stuff about Koha, we're trying to build this website into like a place where you can go to learn more about Koha. So Christopher is going to take us over to the demo site, though, and show us how to use the disable syspref URL.
And as George mentioned, this is a great tool to use if you want to compare with and without the CSS or the jQuery. Another good purpose for this is if an upgrade has been done and suddenly something isn't working right on the website, instead of having to go and try and find the piece of code that might be causing the problem, you can quickly check to see if your CSS or your jQuery is part of the issue simply by using this code in your URL to bypass that. In the past, I've just wiped out the jQuery and real quick and tested the site against the new upgrade to see if it works. But I hate having to pull all that code out, test against it, and then put it back in, because there's always the risk, oh, I lost it in the copy and paste or whatever, or I didn't have a backup of the code or whatever. This is a good, safe way of testing against the system without those customizations. All right, so I have our demo website up here with a couple of examples of changes that were made, one with CSS and one with jQuery. The home breadcrumb, the breadcrumb line here, I have jQuery set up that changes this color here. I could do both. I could do it either in CSS or jQuery, but this one's being controlled strictly from jQuery. The other change that we made is the logo up in the upper left-hand corner. We have the Koha-US logo in place of the Koha logo, and this is done strictly through CSS. So let's demonstrate how to disable one of these. First of all, at the end of the URL, I'm going to add some code here. After a question mark, it says disable syspref _internet user JS equals 1. So this is going to disable just jQuery or JavaScript. So I'm going to press enter here on that URL. And now the color change that I made in jQuery is undone, and I am just seeing it without the jQuery modifications.
Right.
Does not touch the logo in the upper left, which is done through CSS.
Yeah, I think there are a couple other things on here that were controlled by jQuery that have disappeared too, but we're only focusing on the logo and the breadcrumbs bar.
Right. We have some things that are a combination of both, but yeah. So that is effectively removed just the jQuery. Now, if you want to do CSS, the line is very similar. It's CSS instead of JS. And so if I change that and press enter, now the jQuery comes back, but the change that we made in CSS
That's gone.
been removed. Yes.
Yeah.
So this makes it a little easier for you to debug one or the other. If you wanted to do both,
I was just about to ask, how could you do both?
if you want to do both, instead of just a single command, we're going to add both. So this basically puts in one command to disable the CSS. This starts off with the question mark for the first parameter that's being added to the URL. And then if you add a second parameter, instead of a question mark, you're going to use an ampersand in front of it. And so this one disables the CSS. The first one disables the jQuery. And if I press enter, now both are disabled.
Right. And that's really handy.
It is.
If you've got a weird piece of CSS or a weird piece of jQuery that you think is broken, this makes it really easy to flip back and forth from one to the other.
Yeah. Always good to test like this, and after an upgrade, if something's not working quite right, especially with a modification that you have in your jQuery or your CSS, always good to start off this way. That way you're not taking out code or changing code unnecessarily if it is not necessarily the culprit. So this will allow you to see if some functionality comes back without your code. It also allows you to inspect the original code. So if your code is making some changes and altering some things, and you need to inspect the original code, maybe selectors that aren't altered in any way, you can go back to the original and inspect that information and check it against your code. So this is a good debugging tool. Now, keep in mind that what we have here is specific to the intranet user, otherwise known as the staff interface. If you want to do this for the OPAC, the commands are almost identical, but instead of saying intranet user, you're going to say OPAC user.
Right.
So please keep that in mind, and we'll have both of those pieces of information in our notes on our webpage with the video. But two good pieces of information, tools to use in your debugging arsenal when you're working on Koha and making modifications.
All right. Well, this is kind of a shorter video than usual, but we'll see you all later. We'll hopefully see you in Lawrence, Kansas on September 20th.
Yes. And just a reminder, if you have any questions or comments or would like to stay up with our videos, if you go over to our YouTube channel for koha-US, you'll see lots of videos on there, some of our meetings, but are in our conferences, but also our playlist for the training videos, and you can like and subscribe to individual or videos, or to subscribe to the channel and stay up to date on our videos.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
See you later.